everyone, and welcome to 5 Points Blue. I'm Kelsey Charles, and I'm joined by Kristi Scales, Neeta, Sreekanth, and Miss Lindsay Cash. And we're here to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the big topics this week coming out of the Cowboys. The Cowboys obviously came off a big win this weekend against the Saints. DeMarco Murray had another fantastic game, his 4th game in a row with 100+ rushing yards. He is the leading rusher in the NFL, and it's also his contract year, so it's a big discussion right now. What are you guys thinking about whether or not the Cowboys should re-sign him?
First of all, did anyone expect that win? I think no. If you say yes, you're lying, because that was something just out of the blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, big year for DeMarco Murray. I know a lot of the talk is that, you know, the lifespan of a running back has really shrank to 1 to 3 years. And Kristi, you've been here for 24 years now. You can really attest to maybe how it shrunk so much.
Sure. Well, we know the Cowboy fans who've watched for a long time, as recently as Marion Barber. Remember how he came on strong and he got that big, huge money contract long term, but with his physical running style, he was done sooner rather than later, and that didn't work out well. But here's the thing. Murray was a 3rd-round pick. This is his 4th season. He's playing on his original rookie contract, okay? And he is right now horribly underpaid in terms of what he's accomplished so far this year. Yeah, he counts $1.596 million against the 2014 Dallas Cowboys salary cap. He is number 32. At $1.596 million. Number 1 is Adrian Peterson of the Vikings, and we won't get into Adrian's story today, but $14.4 million. LaShawn McCoy of the Eagles, great player, deserves his $9.7 million. Then you have Jamal Charles of the Chiefs at number 3. Arian Foster, who the Cowboys will see Sunday, $8.5 million. Marshawn Lynch of the world champion Seahawks, $8 million. So the thing is, Murray is underpaid for what he's doing right now, but do you commit long-term money, a long-term contract, big money to a guy who's missed 11 games in his first 3 seasons?
That's the thing, is that he hasn't had a full year without injuries, so even though he's playing for that contract, as a lot of people are really saying, is it going to happen?
And is it sustainable? Honestly, is it sustainable? And we saw him last year and how he wasn't able to stay on the field the entire time. And obviously he's doing really well right now. But his style of play, the nature of the position, can you really trust him to stay on the field the entire 16 games?
Well, that's why you have Joseph Randle, why you have Lance Dunbar, who's not the same style, a different changeup, and you have Ryan Williams on your practice squad, and Ryan Williams had that wonderful preseason. So if things don't work out for Murray, the thing that's in the Cowboys' favor and not so great for Murray is that this past offseason, the free agent market for running backs, the numbers in terms of salary, it was really, really depressed. And so, too bad the Cowboys didn't get him signed this past offseason to extend it, because they could have gotten him cheaper, but at the same time, they didn't want to make a commitment when they're not sure about his durability.
Now, obviously, the Cowboys have committed more to the running game this season than they have in the past, as you've seen with DeMarco Murray's production. Are you a little bit more optimistic about their season moving forward? I mean, they're starting 3-1 right now, and I think a lot of people in the beginning were thinking another 8-8 or maybe even worse, but so far it's not kind of looking like that. What are your thoughts?
Well, if history is to repeat itself, I think you don't want to get a little too optimistic right now, because there is a tough part of the schedule coming up with the Texans, the Seahawks, and the Giants aren't looking too bad either. Agreed. ESPN and NFL just changed their power rankings after this past week, and ESPN has us 10th in the NFL as far as how we rank amongst other teams, and NFL.com has us at number 12. Both after this win, it jumped us up 8 spots for each poll, which is pretty crazy.
And the reason I'm optimistic isn't necessarily because it's been, a good start, a good win over the Saints. It's because I see the team gelling more, and especially with Rod Marinelli's defense, we talk a lot about how it's that bend, don't break, maybe allow a field goal here, maybe allow a big catch here, but to be able to kind of come together, especially the defensive backs and the linebackers, I think it's really starting to actually come together in fruition and before our eyes, and that's what's optimistic to me.
Now, Neeta, you mentioned the Giants are the team that, not the team to beat, but they are actually not showing too bad right now in the NFC East. Now, you also got the Redskins, who are not doing so hot. The Cowboys and the Eagles are tied for the number 1 in the division. And actually, you mentioned this before to me, that there's an ESPN analyst, former Eagle Eric Allen, said the Dallas Cowboys are the team to beat in the NFC East. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on that. Like, what do you guys think? Are the Cowboys the team to beat in the NFC East? Because it was overwhelmingly, in the beginning, the Eagles.
They are the team to beat because of how they beat the Saints. The Saints have a history of being a great team over the past few years with Sean Payton, Drew Brees. However, I'm still a little skeptical on saying that just because, you know, durability, injuries, you know, how much are they actually going to commit to the run going forward against a team against like the Texans who have a strong defensive line? There's some tough questions.
J.J. Watt ain't bad.
Yeah. and the Eagles also now have Darren Sproles, who had been with the Saints. So you see what a key player he was. What happened to the Saints without Darren Sproles, and then what he's been able to do. LaShawn McCoy, the big star for the Eagles, his numbers are so down. I hope you didn't have him in your fantasy draft, but because Sproles is getting a lot of those numbers now. But can I say one thing about the optimism? What I like most about this year's team is that the players are not listening to the outside chatter, to Eric Allen or to what the polls are. And my favorite thing about Sunday night's win over the Saints was in the post-game locker room, Dez Bryant is sitting in his locker, and the media gathers around him to get Dez's post-game thoughts. And it's like, oh, what a shocking win and a great upset win. And Dez said, we expected this, but we know we got to keep working hard, and it's a long season. And so that's what made me feel great about it, because we're around these players all the time. And talking with Coach Marinelli a couple hours before kickoff, he said, I can't wait to get these guys, meaning the Saints offense. And at that point, I'm like, that's it. Cowboys are going to win tonight. It totally changed my attitude on the game.
Well, it is a long season, and like you said, the Cowboys do take on the Houston Texans this weekend, so we have a lot to look forward to, and hopefully a lot to talk about next week as well. But that's all we have time for with you guys today. Thank you all so much for joining us. Stay up to date with all the latest happening around Valley Ranch and with the team on 5pointsblue.com. We will see you all next week.